Hello everyone, my name's Chloe Schlitt, and today I'll be telling you about the high prevalence of obesity among the Native American youth population. As of 2019, at least 30% of Native American youth were obese. They are the race with the highest incidence of obesity in the U.S. In order to understand why Native American youths are so vulnerable to obesity, we must first understand some of the predisposing and enabling characteristics of the population. Lifestyle is a major health determinant that affects American Indian youth. Before they became more integrated into our urban society, Native Americans held a very active lifestyle. They had to do most things themselves and were more physically active. They used to be more involved in hunting, agriculture, and construction than they are now. Today, Native Americans have become more involved in modern society and have a novel access to unhealthy foods like high-calorie pre-made snacks in superstores. They also live closer to more fast food restaurants, which is contributing to unhealthy, high-sugar diets and weight gain. This shift to a more sedentary lifestyle and more convenient food has Native Americans doing less physical activity than they used to. This is leading to lifetime obesity starting with unhealthy childhood habits. Another major health determinant is environment. The adverse environment created by a history of trauma, social injustice, and cultural disruption is also causing the health crisis among Indian youths. This adverse environment exposes Native American youths to more stressors than non-Native American youths, which makes them more vulnerable for chronically high cortisol levels. Cortisol is a stress hormone that causes insulin release in the body, which will cause a person's blood sugar to crash. When a person's blood sugar crashes, they crave high sugar foods and unhealthy foods, making it harder for them to make healthy eating decisions. Being constantly exposed to stressors and routinely releasing cortisol makes Native American youths especially vulnerable to developing poor eating habits. This adverse health condition does not seem to vary by geographic region because the prevalence of overweight and obesity is stable across the regions where Native American populations live. Moving on to enabling characteristics that make Native American children so vulnerable to obesity is their lack of access to healthcare and their chronic state of poverty. 20% of Native Americans are without any form of healthcare at all, and 43% rely entirely on private health insurance. This makes it extremely difficult for many Native Americans to get regular access to primary physician visits to prevent health problems like obesity. Yearly checkups are not covered by many private insurance companies, and they are very expensive to pay out of pocket. This discourages many regular doctor visits and prevents Native Americans from being educated on proper health maintenance practices. More than 20% of Native American families are below the poverty line. That is more than double the national average for families in poverty. Being caught in poverty severely limits social activities by economic means and by social barriers. Native American families may not want to participate in many community events because they do not feel like they fit in due to their status. Many families may also not be able to afford luxuries like sports or outdoor toys. Therefore, poverty is linked to higher sedentary lifestyles and higher rates of obesity. Being in poverty also limits people's abilities to purchase fresh, healthy food, so they eat less healthy, more processed, long shelf life foods for most of their diet. High poverty rates and low access to healthcare are very significant enabling factors that make Native American youths so vulnerable. So, what does all this mean in the long term for Native Americans? Childhood obesity can lead to early onset type 2 diabetes, which has been highly correlated with 3 times higher death rates later in life than people who didn't develop type 2 diabetes in their youth. It also greatly increases the risk for kidney disease. In fact, 93% of end-stage renal disease in Native American population can be attributed to youth-onset type 2 diabetes. The prevalence of type 2 diabetes among Indian youth has more than doubled since 1968. So, if we cannot develop effective prevention strategies, Native American health will continue to decline. When children are exposed to obese adults, they are more likely to become obese themselves. So, this is a serious issue to address. Here are some discussion questions regarding obesity among Native American youths. 1. What factors do you think a health promotion campaign should focus on to decrease obesity in Native American youth? Would it be successful if we only target children, or should we also educate and equip parents with weight loss plans? Would one approach be more effective than the other? 2. If we were to increase the funding and coverage of federal insurance for Native Americans, what types of programs/services do you think should qualify for funding to maximize health improvements? Where do you think we could get the funds from? Is it fair to take the funds from other state departments like the military or education?